Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Last place in the Pacific Division the last I looked. Did we expect more than this out of the Kraken this year?
Yeah, I think, well, listen, I did. And I think, there's the two schools of thought. There's the Vegas thought where, hey, you should be able to compete for a title right away and be in the Stanley Cup playoffs right away. But I think being more realistic, the GMs were all ready for it this time around as far as the expansion draft is concerned. That being said, Rod, I think anybody that knows the league can look at Seattle's roster, look at what happened in the expansion draft, the lack of true activity outside of Grubauer in free agency, and frankly, they just didn't do enough. Now, they're in it for the long haul. They're playing the slow play. They're building for the future. They've got 1 million draft picks over the next few years. Their Giordano trade that had all kinds of picks. So they've got a lot of draft picks coming. But listen, your audience, especially the ones that north of the border, know very well, and I've been trying to educate our fans down here, draft picks in the NHL are not like NFL draft picks. They don't just come to fruition right away, and oftentimes they never come to fruition. So you can have all these draft picks. That's great. What they do next is huge because the team they put on the ice this year was really not very good. I know, listen, they're the third worst team right now in the National Hockey League, and there's just not a lot to be excited about heading into this offseason.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Viewer asked if I was confident last hour in the Rough Riders roster, and I said no, and I'll make the proclamation now. There's no way the Riders will be in the Grey Cup with this roster. I'm waiting to see a rabbit pulled out of the hat. I haven't seen it yet. That's not to say they won't, but I right now can't see them in the Grey Cup. And Wayne in Victoria, BC says the Riders are never front runners. Rod, the media has never in over 100 years ever called the Riders favorites to win the Grey Cup. That's okay with me.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It sure is. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome inside. Come on in. Come on in. Here on Game Plus Television and live streaming on YouTube and our sports radio listen live listeners at rodpedersen.com. It is what we call a Flame Tech Football Friday. And I'm going to need your help today. In a moment, I'm going to tell you why. We're going to bring in the other half of this famed duo, the Moose, Darren DuPont. We are the only daytime sports and entertainment program on your televisions right now across Canada and the United States. And hey, Moose, what's going on? You ready to talk some ball today?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Good. The reason I say that I'm going to need some help is I got up really early today. I went out and had a very tough workout. It's my last Friday in Florida. I had some meetings this morning, and I didn't even have my full list of topics ready to go or my sports on tap sports list. And as I said to you, I'm looking forward to coming back because I'm doing a sports dinner Saturday night with Lanny McDonald and Chris Walby in Assiniboia. Monday, we're back at Grey Eagle. But, man, I've just loved my time in Florida so much. This is like the last day of summer, and then we're getting real as we cross the border coming back to Canada. So my mind's not totally in it. You understand that, right? So, Moose, you may need to do more talking than normal if you're up for that.
I get it. But it's Friday. It's Friday. Everybody's got one foot in the door of the weekend, so we'll be fine.
That's the thing. I'm so ready for the weekend. But because it is a Flame Tech Football Friday, and I'm excited about what's going on in the CFL, and I have a very interesting NFL topic to get to as well on this Football Friday. But coming up in terms of guests, we've got the co-general manager of the BC Lions, Neil McAvoy, going to be joining us from Vancouver, and the newest member of the Montreal Alouettes front office, Joey Alfieri. And I think I'm the only guy that's actually called him that, a member of the Alouettes front office, right? Long-time TSN Montreal radio guy. He's gone and joined the dark side, that is team personnel with the Alouettes, and he's their digital media person because all the teams are hiring those guys now. So Joey's coming up in hour 2. Can we hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? I said that I had some football topics, and I'll get to those in a minute, but this is for the podcast. People tune in every day just to get all the sports items first, right, Moose, as you know? So
yep.
At the Masters, South Korea's Sung Jae Im leads Cameron Smith by 1 stroke after the opening round. 5 under 67 at Augusta National. Tiger Woods shot a 71. He's tied for 10th. Corey Connors of Listowel, Ontario, is the top Canadian in the field. He shot a 70, was tied for the 7th. Entering today, I see he's 3 under, tied for 4th as we go through this morning. Where is Tiger? He's tied for 9th now. Oh, he still is. He hasn't teed off yet. Not till 1:41 p.m. this afternoon. So that's as far as I'm willing to go on Masters talk. Do you have any thoughts here before I move on to point 2?
No, nothing yet. I mean, we'll follow, obviously, the leaderboard and stuff throughout the day again. It's good to see Dustin Johnson playing well. It's going to be a fun day and see who gets to the weekend.
Okay, moving on. Point 2. Connor McDavid set a career high with his 42nd goal and became the 7th player in NHL history to record multiple point streaks of at least 15 games in a season, as the streaking Edmonton Oilers defeated the LA Kings 3-2 Thursday night. McDavid remained the league's top scorer with 109 points. He's also scored in a career-best 6 straight games, which is the longest run by an Edmonton player since Jimmy Carson had a goal in 7 games in a row during the 88-89 season. The youngsters won't know, but the older people like me will. Jimmy Carson came over in the Gretzky trade from the Los Angeles Kings. He was key to the deal. But Jimmy Carson, not a household name, but he holds an Oilers record. How about that? Moving on, in Raleigh, Sebastian Aho and Jordan Stahl each scored 2 goals, and the Carolina Hurricanes rallied from a pair of 2-goal deficits to beat Buffalo 5-3. In Dallas, Austin Matthews has the most goals ever in a single season by the Leafs, and also the most ever by an American-born player in an NHL season. Austin shot down 2 records last night in Dallas. He set the franchise record with his 55th goal. Then he scored his 56th in overtime to break the American record and give the Maple Leafs the 4-3 victory over Dallas. Somebody want to tell me who the last American was? Do you know? Because I don't. Moose, who had the American record for most goals in a season?
No,
I'm sorry. I don't know. So,
but
Clark saying maybe Pat LaFontaine or Mike Modano. I'm not sure. I don't know. So I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot here. I just cut the story off there. So good for Austin Matthews, who, by the way, is a hell of a player. I got to give him his due. He does play a 200-foot game. If the Leafs don't do anything this season or at any point in his career in Toronto, it'll be a shame because Austin Matthews is a hell of a player. In New York, Frank the Tank Vatrano and Artemi Panarin scored in the second period. Igor Shesterkin stopped 30 shots for his 4th shutout of the season, and the Rangers beat Pittsburgh 4-0. We miss Frank the Tank Vatrano here in South Florida. Believe me, we do. But in New York, Frank Vatrano just fits in New York, doesn't he? Hello, I'm up here. Hi. Eyes up here. You're looking it up, aren't
actually,
you?
you're down here. No, I'm looking at you.
Who is it? Who was it? Did you look it up?
I actually have that too. I have that as well. Jimmy Carson and Kevin Stevens.
How about that? Wow, none of us had it right. See what we're learning today? Thank you. I said that we were going to need some help today. In Ottawa, Roman Josi had 3 assists, and Nashville erased a 1-goal deficit in the third period as Nashville defeated the Sens 3-2. Cale Clegg had a goal and 2 assists. Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki each had a goal and an assist as part of a 3-goal first period, and Montreal beat New Jersey 7-4. In Columbus, Kevin Connaughton, Owen Tippett, and Noah Cates scored in Philadelphia's 3-goal second period. Flyers beat Columbus 4-1. In Chicago, that toddling town, Philip Grubauer made 29 saves for Seattle's second shutout, and the expansion Kraken blanked the Blackhawks 2-0. And we round up our NHL tour. In Glendale, Arizona, where Bo Horvat and Alex Chason each had 2 goals and a helper, as Vancouver continued a late playoff push with a 5-1 victory over the Coyotes. My next point would have been, Moose, the NHL top 5 and bottom 5, but we're not doing it this week. I just feel like I don't have the energy. But what I will talk about here in the third point is potential playoff pairings. How about that? I feel like we're at that point in the calendar where we can do that. In the East Conference, if the playoffs started today, the Florida Panthers would meet the Washington Capitals. Your Toronto Maple Leafs would meet the Boston Bruins. The Carolina Hurricanes would face the Tampa Bay Lightning. How about that? New York Rangers would face the Penguins. And last night, the Rangers beat Pittsburgh 4-0. Out west, some really good matchups. It would be Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota versus St. Louis. The Flames would face Nashville, and the Oilers would face the LA Kings. And again, the Oilers just beat them last night. I would suggest it's going to be fun to talk about this. Everybody's going to. But can we submit that you're going to be playing a great team in the first round no matter what if you are in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, those matchups are like Stanley Cup finals matchups. I mean, or conference final matchups. I mean, that's unbelievable. And that's why it's the best time of the year.
Oh, yeah. You know, they say the round one is the best, and it probably is, but I just think every round is so great. And I just think, pray to the baby hockey Jesus every day that the Flames and the Panthers will have very long playoff runs as this show broadcasts out of those two wonderful markets. But we'll see. Moving on to point 4. 2 black coaches have joined Brian Flores in his lawsuit alleging racist hiring practices by the NFL toward coaches and general managers. The updated lawsuit filed in Manhattan federal court Thursday adds coaches Steve Wilkes and Ray Horton. Wilkes alleges he was discriminated against by the Arizona Cardinals in 2018. Horton claims he was subjected to discriminatory treatment when he interviewed for the Tennessee Titans head coach position in January 2016. I'm not interested in talking as much about that as the next point as it dovetails off the NFL. To these guys, I say good luck. I have been, in my past, encouraged to sue teams over alleged wrongdoings, and I never did. I was told, well, do you want to be known as the guy who scorches the earth? And so I didn't do it. But that's just me, and it had nothing to do with racial discrimination at all. In these guys' case, I hope that they're successful because they're really putting their necks on the line. Maybe their careers on the line. Do you feel these guys are scorching the earth with these lawsuits? Brian Flores obviously isn't because he got hired by the Steelers by Mike Tomlin. But do you think that, like, where do you think these guys are at with these lawsuits and these 2 guys joining Flores?
Yeah, I do a little bit because, you know, and now I'm a white business owner, right? So when I think about bringing somebody in, I'm like, oh, if I interview this person, I can't not hire them now after they've been through this. So if I'm going to bring them in, I have to hire them. Otherwise, you know, I'm worried about this happening again, right? It'll look like discrimination. Now, here's where it's but it is a good thing, you know, to stand up and make sure this is all changed. And I look back to Colin Kaepernick. He's not going to get signed by an NFL team. He's not going to get a look, even though he just had a pro day and threw the football at Michigan. But his voice is going to be heard, and his career is over, but the next generation should have a better time because of him. So if you're cool with that, it's not going to help you get the position, but it's going to help the next person get the position, if that makes sense.
Which is very noble, right? Very
Yeah,
noble.
very much.
So, interesting that you bring that up. And here we go into a Flame Tech Football Friday, because my next 2 topics are football related, and this will probably carry us through most of hour 1. I was listening to Miami Sports Talk Radio this morning. I just love 560 WQAM. And the host, Joe Rose, had a female analyst on. She's not regularly on. She was on the phone. I don't know her name, but she was great. That's why when you're hiring for this show, you said you're a white business owner. I just would ask you, Darren, to please hire the best person. I would hope that you don't get caught up in an inclusion, diversity movement and hire somebody that's not qualified for the job. So far, we've done very well. You've done very well with your hirings.
Thank you.
And I just want the best people. You understand that, too. But that aside, listening to her today, they were talking on the radio. I think she was a Dolphins beat reporter for some blog, journal, newspaper, or something. I don't know. They were talking about the tanking thing, and what she had to say was very interesting because not only is Brian Flores fired as coach of the Dolphins after last season, suing the NFL for racial discrimination, but he's also accused the owner, Stephen Ross of the Dolphins, of giving him incentives to tank during his 3 seasons with the Dolphins at the end of the year when they were out of it, to lose games to get a better draft pick. And what the female reporter was, and I'm sorry that I can't remember her name, she said that the NFL's gone back and gone through all the Dolphins game film of those season-ending games the last 3 years to see questionable coaching decisions made by Flores to see if this is actually true. Did he, with his roster going in and game management, intentionally try to tank? Because if he did, it would back up his claim. If there was some evidence of it. Wouldn't that be something? And wouldn't you like to be the guy or gal on the other end of that clicker going back and forth on the video trying to decide, okay, is he seriously trying to screw himself here, or was it just a stupid decision? Because, by the way, that happens too with play call. Did he offer to slip a $20 bill into the player's pants if he dropped that pass with the game on the line, which incidentally does happen? Well, not to drop the pass, but I've known coaches that have encouraged or let it be known, slip a 20 in my pants, and this could happen for you. I've heard of it. Yeah. I've heard of it.
Right.
I don't have proof.
I know.
But I've heard of it.
And those stories come up, and it's not like he was sitting there throwing out the punt team from the 30-yard line when you should be kicking a field goal. It's not going to be that obvious. But you're right. That's interesting for somebody going through looking at questionable decisions on how you manage the clock and different game scenarios. So you'd have to go back and start pinpointing all the games that they lost by a possession or really close games, and then start to go back from the fourth quarter. And then you'd need other people to verify, like, oh, this is what I would do in that situation, other coaches. It's a big process. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
Oh, and that, by the way, is a fascinating topic. I mean, I've heard this about our show or my old radio show. People have told me that they've driven around the city for, they got home but didn't want to turn the radio off, so they kept driving. Today, I was driving down Dixie Highway after my workout, and I didn't want to end my drive listening to this conversation today. So the poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, which the Moose came up with today, is would you want your team to tank? I mean, as a matter of fact, how did the Moose word it here? Hang on. Looks like it's going off on Twitter too, Moose. Would you support your team tanking for a franchise player? On Twitter, 52% say yes, 48% no, and bear with me, I feel like we have a topic here that could last for a while. In the replies, Dawson writing us, he says, tanking has been far too risky since the introduction of the draft lottery. From Steve Johnson, he says, didn't work for the Buffalo Sabres. Ben says, if your organization has a repeated history of finding quality players anywhere in the draft, tanking should never be an option digestible for their fans. Craig in Calgary says, no, if you actively cheer for your team to lose, you're no fan of the team. Carlos in Indianapolis says, tanking tells your current players that this prospect is better than you, so you're also probably not going to pick high in multiple drafts. Jeff, the Stamps fan, sarcastically says, I'm sure today's NFL player would jump at the chance for an extra $20. Well, Jeff, the Stamps fan, I wasn't talking about the NFL. And if I may, it was the CFL that I was talking about. So there. What does that say? I'll stop. But let's keep
it's a metaphor.
To a minimum.
It's sarcasm and a metaphor. $20,
it was actually true.
But it could be $1,000 or $100 or $10,000. It's, it doesn't literally mean a 20 necessarily.
Yeah. I'm not done with this, and I don't think our viewers are either. So we're just going to, I knew, I can smell a hot topic like a fart in the car. I knew they'd want to talk about this. So hang on. We'll be back with more. This is the warm-up. Neil McAvoy, the BC Lions, Joey Alfieri, the Montreal Alouettes coming up. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Number 16.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Cooper, the godfather of shock rock, is back with special guest Buck Cherry. Mosaic Place, Sunday, April 10th. Get tickets now at mosaicplace.ca and sasktix.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We are back at it on a Football Friday, and stay tuned for the sports update coming up. We've got news from the Western Hockey League. I haven't got it to it yet, but the Blue Jays open the season. Play ball against the Texas Rangers tonight. There's just so much going on, and it is a Flame Tech Football Friday. Flame Tech, industry leaders in combustion services. It feels like I was just saying that yesterday, Moose. It was 1 week ago on this Flame Tech Football Friday. Time flies so fast, literally when you're having fun and when you're in South Florida. On the topic of tanking, I know that you don't read the comments like I do here, but like I got it open. They're just going nuts, man. They're going nuts in the comment section here on this. I don't even know where to start. People writing in and saying, gotta love Friday. Yes, of course you do. Farmer in Saskatchewan watching on YouTube says, I have a funny feeling that if teams are tanking in the NHL, you could see evidence of it next year with a certain Connor Bedard being draft eligible. Right, in 2023. Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg, as much as I'd like future talent, tanking is not the way to go. Integrity of a franchise is worth more. Yes, I know. Ted and Red Deer, if your team is out of it and decides to play the young quarterback or goalie, is that tanking? Or how about a bunch of young players after unloading your vets at the trade deadline? Is that tanking? Yep. BW in Edmonton, will the NHL see teams tanking to get CB 98? Is the 2 levels of drafting foolproof? And another just Trenton, Norway. I don't have my flag, but just pretend I do. Trenton, Norway says, Norway here, if anyone decides to tank a team in any league and any sport, this is dishonest and dishonorable. It's a good thing some leagues have a draft lottery to prevent this. Stay well. That from Jeff. But I just remember the Jets a few years ago on the cusp of that. Remember when the NFL had the 24-team play-in tournament, which I loved? Why couldn't they keep that? That was so great. The NBA ended up going to it. But anyways, I remember Jets fans saying, you know what, let's just tank it and get a higher draft pick and forget about the playoffs. And they ended up losing to the Flames in that 5-game mini-series anyways. But people what are they saying? If you are cheering for your team to tank, then you're not a true fan. Well, I'll see that, and I'll raise you. You are a true fan because you want your team to draft higher, right? So to say whether you're a true fan or not doesn't really apply in this case.
Well, you never want to watch your team, and a fan could never watch your team and hope that they lose, okay? But I can, not watch my team and hope they rack up some losses so that I can enjoy them a little bit more next year. And then it brings into question, a lot of different things. You mentioned the play-in tournament where the 24 teams made the playoffs. I love that because it creates a little more excitement down the stretch. And then I would take the bottom teams and I would have a tournament of their own. And the winner gets the top pick in the draft. So of the bad, 6 teams or 8 teams or however many you decide to put in that tournament, the top team of the bad teams can win their way to the top draft pick. And I think that would create a tremendous amount of excitement in the spring for those teams as well.
I have to go back for those that just tuned in because there are many that haven't. The reason we're talking about this is I was just listening to Miami Sports Radio today, and man, they got some great topics on there. Incidentally, it's always about the NFL. And just so you know, it's April where there's nothing going on in the NFL, but they talked about the fact that the NFL is going back with a fine-tooth comb and watching all former Dolphins games at the end of the last 3 seasons to see if it's true. The former coach who got fired here, Brian Flores, claiming that the owner encouraged him to tank games, and I think it was like $100,000 a lot. The owner vehemently denied it, and of course we can always listen to these guys and trust them, right? The owners. That meant nothing to me when I heard that he vehemently denied these claims by Brian Flores. I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of a Brian Flores fan. Just from what I know of guys that have played for him, they like him. There's a lot of people within the Dolphins organization that don't like him, but the people that I know like Brian Flores. And they say if he says that he's been racially discriminated against and if he was offered to, cash payments to tank, they tend to believe him. And it's interesting, by the way. I'll go one step further because it is a Flame Tech football. When the Riders got nailed to the wall for playing, remember they would play All-Americans for the first half and then double up the amount of Canadians in the second half. The whole idea was to get a big enough lead. Remember that? And they got fined for that?
Yeah.
I can't remember how much it was. You and I, were we friends? We knew each other, but we weren't where we are now in terms of business partners and stuff. But I remember my phone was ringing off the hook from American football people who incidentally are all watching today. And you know some of them. When I get into my imitation, you'll know exactly who it was. They're like, Rod, if somebody's going to do this, they really want to nail Jones. Because you got to sit down with a pen and paper and go through every play with every number. I'm like, yep, they do. And they really wanted to nail Jones. And the thing is, the CFL is not the National Football League. Somebody probably from another team would have sat down with a pen and paper, charted everything, and said, here you go, CFL. The NFL has they probably got about 5 interns on this doing, wouldn't you say? Right now?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little different. Yeah. But could do
here's
it.
the spreadsheet. Here's the spreadsheet. You need to chart all these plays, report back to me.
Yes. So, and again, that this is a hot button topic. So much so that the results were like 50-50. Would you support your team tanking? And incidentally, I said no. I'll sprinkle in something here because it's worth mentioning. Jennifer from the Four Seasons writes and he says, Jay's home opener, loving that baseball is back. We are too. Then that's Clark. He's on the bit. But I'll say it again. I'm sitting in a Major League Baseball market and I haven't heard one word. Not one. Nowhere about the Marlins all week long. Now, incidentally, WQAM is not the radio rights holder of the Marlins, but hello, it's Major League Baseball. So, yeah, it's opening day for the Blue Jays, and I get that it's big, but I'd rather talk about this than it's my show. Ryan H. on YouTube writes it and says, tanking isn't quite cheating, but it's along the same lines. I'd rather watch my team play hard but lose than tank deliberately. But that's the point. Is it that clear that they're tanking it or not? Like the guy said earlier, if you play the backup goalie, if you put in the backup quarterback, I mean, it's not that overly evident. When these claims came out about the tanking, the football people said to me, very tough to prove. Didn't mean that they weren't going to look into it, and that's what I'm told they're doing. Is they're going back and looking at the ends of games to see if there's in any way that they can find. But stupid coaching decisions aren't rare either. I'd hate to see Brian Flores get nailed to the wall just because he made a stupid decision in a game and people think that he was deliberately tanking. But the other thing, what about this? Near the end of the season, for not necessarily just teams that are tanking, any teams that in the NHL call up their AHL players or in the CFL, their practice roster guys to give them a look. That's where it becomes very hard to see whether you're tanking or not. And as a ticket buying public, that's the big one, which I think you were getting at earlier. If you're paying top dollar for ticket, you want to see the top players. And I understand that this is completely, in a way, apples and oranges, but there's been a lot of viewers write in about the Western Hockey League. I remember in 2001, sorry to say, it's a long time ago, you were still in high school, Moose. Lorne Mulliken called up a bunch of scrubs to play the last game in Moose Jaw. Now, we weren't tanking or anything, but the game meant nothing. And his nephew, Dustin Mulliken, will laugh when I call him a scrub, but Dustin was one of those guys that got called up for the Pac Canadians, and there was this huge outcry amongst both Pats and Warriors fans that they weren't playing their top guys. Shoot, we had Barrett Jackman and Garth Murray and Blake Evans and Paul Elliott and all these studs. Like, we paid to watch these guys. So this is not rare. And I just wonder if there's ever going to be a resolution to this or an answer.
Yeah, I don't know if there will be. You know, when you talk about bringing up young players, because you got to see what you have, give them an opportunity to play at the professional level. And, you know, we've seen proof, especially in hockey and football, but we've seen proof at how valuable it is to bottom out. You know, Edmonton, look at all the players and the key guys they have now. They bottomed out and it didn't work, but with Nuge and with Connor and with Leon, right? All through the draft. You look at those great Penguins teams, and I know they got Crosby through the lottery, but Crosby and Malkin and Marc-Andre Fleury, all high draft picks, and they went on to win. Tampa, you know, got Stamkos as a high draft pick, and Braden Point and Kucherov. You have to kind of go down to get yourself back up. Look at Chicago with Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves, and you know,
Golden
it all happens
State
through the
Warriors.
draft. Exactly. So there's benefit. It's not like, you know we miss on draft picks, and people say, well, tanking doesn't guarantee anything. But traditionally, teams that are good for long periods of time had bottomed out just before that.
Yes. And that's why I love the discussion. This is a great sports discussion, and this is why I think people love this show so much, because it's real and you don't get it anywhere else. But I remember the owner of the Golden State Warriors, and I'm not the biggest NBA fan, but I remember 12, 15 years ago, whoever the owner is of the Warriors, Golden State Warriors, was at center court in the old Oracle Arena on the microphone apologizing to the fans for how bad the Golden State Warriors were. And I remember him getting pelted with garbage. You suck. Right? And then they ended up drafting Draymond Green and Steph Curry. They got the high picks. And all of a sudden, they're winning championships. They're the number one jersey seller in the NBA. It's because they drafted so high. It's exactly what you're just saying. So while tanking won't necessarily, like the NFL, you would think they would have a draft lottery. You would think they would. Really? And I have no idea why they don't. I mean, you literally can't sit here and talk about it for the CFL because that draft is such a crapshoot. It's interesting enough to cover, obviously. But when you don't even know, you can't take the best Canadian player available. You can't, because he's probably going to be in the NFL. You would never have this conversation in the CFL. Never.
No.
Would you?
No, because the draft just doesn't have as much importance. You know, when you're looking at the National Hockey League, you're drafting Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin, Steven Stamkos. When you're in the NFL, you're drafting Patrick Mahomes, or you're drafting a franchise-altering player.
Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence.
Exactly. You know, and in the CFL, these offensive linemen typically that go high in the draft, you draft some impact players, no doubt, but they don't alter the franchise in the same way that it does. You're not going to ever see a franchise quarterback drafted in the Canadian Football League draft.
No, and to end this, although we may bring it up later, and I think it will come up later, but Wayne in Victoria, BC says it's hard to prove in either hockey or football. That's why I hope leagues don't spend too much time on it. The footnote on all of this, from what I heard this morning from the female reporter on WQAM, so far there's been no evidence that the Dolphins tank. So what does that say about Brian Flores' claims?
You're right. And it's not like this came up during the season. I didn't hear a single analyst be like, wait a second, are they tanking? Something doesn't look right with the Miami Dolphins. I haven't seen that heard that in the last few years.
So it ain't over, bud. It ain't over. I'll see you back here in hour 2.
Sounds good.
Co-general manager of the BC Lions, Neil McAvoy, joins us next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network, live streaming on YouTube, and you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Alice Cooper, the godfather of shock rock, is back. with special guest Buck Cherry. Mosaic Place, Sunday, April 10th. Get tickets now at mosaicplace.ca and sasktix.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Promotional consideration for the RP Show brought to you by, in part, Tough Tribe for Men. It contains aloe vera, botanicals, and antioxidants, traditionally known for its scalp and hair benefits. We are part of the clean beauty industry. Welcome to Clean Beauty for Men. Available today at toughtribeformen.com. That's the number 4, toughtribeformen.com. and Amazon Canada. I do not have any pomade in my lid today because I'm waiting to get back to Canada and get my shipment of Tough Tribe for Men up there. The pomade I was using here in Florida smelled a little like glue. And yeah, it's not Tough Tribe. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I'll probably get to the sports update next segment because we really hit on something here today, and that is the tanking discussion in the NFL. You know, and we're waiting on Neil McAvoy, the co-GM of the BC Lions, to join us. Some connection issues there from what I understand. The Miami Dolphins being investigated by the NFL for the claims by their fired coach, Brian Flores, that the owner was offering him cash incentives to tank games at the end of the last 3 seasons. And so far, from what I heard this morning, there's been no evidence that the Dolphins did try to tank games. So now you got to go and see, did the owner try to get him to do it, but he didn't do it? Or is this completely fabricated? But Mark Zosel, he's watching in Melford. He says, just because you are bad and or tank does not mean anything if you don't draft well, i.e. Nail Yakupov. No, but it does give you a better chance with a higher pick. You just hope you don't screw up that pick. My cousin Christine in Medicine Hat. She says, tanking is not cool in my book, but I'm sure it's done more than we know. And by the way, I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get a hold of Neil McAvoy here. I certainly hope that we do. But the BC Lions' current roster has been constructed in a lot of ways through the CFL draft. Their number 1 overall pick a couple years ago, Jordan Williams out of East Carolina, ended up being Rookie of the Year. Their starting quarterback this year, Nathan Rourke, went in the 2nd round. I believe he was the first pick of the 2nd round that same year. So, Neil, thanks for your patience in joining us. And just what we're talking about is the claims that by the Dolphins, Brian Flores, their former coach, of tanking. Safe to say, we never hear the tanking discussion in the CFL. At least I haven't. Have you in all your years in the league?
No. I mean, tanking's not something. In the Canadian Football League, you got to play and play now and win now. So it's not, there is no advantage to tanking. There is no, so-called Wayne Gretzky in the draft that you can wait for and build a team off of. That's just the way the Canadian Football League is. So tanking is not something that teams are going to do or have the ability to do.
Of course, no. But the thing is I brought it up because they're talking about it here in Miami, and so far there's been no evidence that the Dolphins did tank over the last 3 years with Flores in charge. But with you guys, your draft, I don't know if you heard what I said before you brought on, Jordan Williams and Nathan Rourke, your last 2 top picks from a couple of years ago, is the middle of your team, quarterback and linebackers. So you guys going to be pretty proud with what you've done the last few years in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, those 2 individuals, especially our middle linebacker, has really stepped up and, turned out to be not only a good football player on the field, but actually off as well. Like just a leader of men, which at the end of the day in professional football, you need to have some alpha males leading your team. And right now, Jordan is that guy at the middle linebacker spot. He's an excitable young man that makes a lot of tackles, and we're excited to have him. On the other realm, the offensive guy with Nathan, excited about that. When we first picked him, I mean, the reality is that he is a Canadian, but at the end of the day, he's just a good football player and a good quarterback. So we're excited to see what expectations he has. And we have high expectations for him. He has high expectations for himself. And so we're going to hit the ground running with, so far him at the Realm.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've had both those young men on this show, and I respect them both immensely, as you just said, as football players, but as individuals. So, yeah, I know how important the CFL draft is, which, speaking of, how are the plans for the Lions this year? How many picks you guys got? What are you looking at this year for BC?
Yeah, good question. I mean, we're right in the middle of trying to figure out the draft. We pick 3rd, 12, and then from there on, things go as they go. But we're gonna get 2 of the top 12 picks in the 2022 CFL draft, and we believe that of those 2 picks, they will be able to come in and help us day one. That our expectations are to pick a couple guys that will be able to come in and complement our current team. We have a young football team, but we also have a young team that guys are coming into their second year that are still young. So it's time to continue building and bringing in young talent to compete with the group we already have.
Actually, now that you say that, I recall that you're picking 3rd because I saw the comment or the quote where somebody said at number 3 they should take Trey Ford because they're going Canadian at quarterback anyways. I'm not going to ask you what you're doing, but what are your thoughts on this young man out of Waterloo, Trey Ford? You saw him up close and personal, obviously.
Yeah, you know what? It's a testament to U Sport. It's a testament to young football players in the country of Canada that, those 2 young men and a couple other guys from Waterloo, him and his brother went to the University of Buffalo Pro Day, and the 2 guys that no one expected anything from were the 2 guys that were the highlights of the Pro Day. So, even when I spoke to him directly and just asked him what his, experience was going to Buffalo, and he said he was nervous going down because it's the NCAA, it's America, it's the big United States, and he was excited when the fact that he got there and was actually one of the best players at the workout, and that's a testament to Waterloo, that's a testament to U Sport, and that's a testament to all young football players in the country of Canada to work hard, get better, and compete, and that's what the sport's all about. And excitable to see young men compete at the top level.
Well, and to be honest, Neil, that's my next thing. You've been in this game a real long time. Can you please tell me about the state of Canadian talent? I mean, Chase Claypool in your own backyard. They say there's more Canadians than ever playing NCAA. We know there's more than ever in the NFL. Is it a fact that across the board it's higher than ever? And how has that impacted the CFL draft in terms of you don't know where these kids are going to end up when you're drafting them?
Yeah, you know what? As a Canadian and a guy who's worked and played football in Canada, I'm excited and happy for the young men that are finally getting opportunities to play at the top level. Now, as an executive in the Canadian Football League, you're a little bit, the word's not nervous, but the fact is that the United States and the NCAA and the NFL are finally looking at athletes in Canada. That's, again, it's not worrisome. It's just the reality. It's the realities that we have to live with, that, we are the Canadian Football League. We give young men an opportunity to play at the professional level. And we've always had to compete with the National Football League for talent. And we're just going to have to compete even more. And that's just the way things are, which is great for the young men playing. But we're going to have to put our boots to the ground and just find more raw talent to develop and compete.
I got to ask you how nice it was to have a normal combine, to be able to interview the players face to face, see them face to face, compared to what you've had to do the last 2 years.
I can't tell you how refreshing it was, and just refreshing, from being the last 2-3 years working in the boardroom and doing all the business parts of professional football. Going there and refreshingly seeing these young men excited about talking to you, excited about getting into the Canadian Football League. There was no, negativity at all. It was all positive and all happy and all smiles. And you know what? It's refreshing to start that part. And this is an exciting time of the year because all these guys are excited and will get the opportunities to come in. And then, once they get into camps, the realities of professional football take over. But until that time, we're going to just be happy and start put our nose to the grindstone and find some young talent to become BC Lions for 2022.
As I figured this would go far too fast. We only have a minute, Neil, but I'm wondering how much you're enjoying the analysis of people looking at your Canadian quarterback combo saying what a gamble it is. And I believe it is a gamble. How are you excited to, how excited are you to hopefully prove people wrong this year with the BC Lions?
Yeah, I mean, we are going to prove people wrong. The reality is Nathan is a quarterback. He went to an American school. He went to high school. I mean, it's not like, he by his birth rate, he's Canadian, but at the end of the day, he's like any other quarterback we brought in. And if he didn't have the ability or the talent, he wouldn't be in the position he's in now. If Nathan was born in, New York, not Toronto, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. We'd just be excited about the BC Lions have a great young quarterback. But because he's Canadian, people, put a little bit of an asterisk beside his name. So I'm excited to see how he performs. He's shown us that he can perform. He's done all the right things professionally on and off the field. So we have high expectations of him. He has high expectations of himself. And we're excited about competing in 2022 and, showing these people that we are going to be a good football team.
Well, I expect it to work out just the way that you plan, and as you can see, we're following it very closely. I hope to get out there for a game this year. So, Neil, always good seeing you and chatting ball with you, my man. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
The co-general manager of the BC Lions, Neil McAvoy. We've got Taco Time Viewer Takeover coming up next. Stick around. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Squad? Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
All right, everybody, it is a Taco Time viewer takeover time, but I think I'm going to jump into a sports update here, and I apologize. I have to apologize to the BC Lions. I understand that Neil McAvoy had a story about a Florida Panthers game with Wally Buono, and I'm sorry, guys. Can we get Neil on a future episode to tell the story? We went overtime as it was with football questions. Dag nabbit. Anyways, I got to get into a sports update here. Shh. It's been an hour of lollygagging, and it's gone by so fast, which I knew that it would. The Western Hockey League announced Thursday the results of the 2022 WHL Prospects Draft Lottery will be broadcast in a free WHL live event on Thursday, April 21st. The show will also include the unveiling of WHL Divisional Award winners and all-star teams for this season. The draft lottery will involve the 6 non-playoff clubs from this season. Isn't it interesting that we're talking about this today on the day of the tanking discussion? And listen, this is a big deal. Look what happened for the Regina Pats since they drafted Connor Bedard. The 2022 Divisional Award winners and all-star teams are selected by WHL general managers. Each Divisional Award winner will be finalist for the 2022 WHL Awards, which will be broadcast on WHL Live Wednesday, June 1st. I would assume there's a banquet attached to that as well. I did not include that in my sports update. But that's what's going on. Go to WHL.ca for the news on that for more info. Play ball! The Toronto Blue Jays open their Major League campaign at Rogers Center tonight against the Texas Rangers. The Jays enter the MLB season with a lot of promise after missing the playoffs last year by just one game. Jays have not had a home opener in Toronto since 2019. If you can believe, Jose Barrios gets the start for Toronto today. Winnipeg Jets are the lone Canadian NHL team in action tonight. Winnipeg hosts the league-leading Colorado Avalanche as they try to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. Jets 8 points out of a wild card spot. They've lost 3 in a row. Last minute of play in hour 1. Last minute. By the way, we will be playing next hour our Bet Regal Game of the Weekend contest. So I want you to look at the schedule for tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, whatever, and tell us who you think is your featured game and then who you think will win it. Some are already voting for the Masters. You got to tell us who wins it to be eligible for the prize package from Bet Regal. Canada's Brad Gushue enters play today with a chance to lock up the first seed at the World Men's Curling Championship in Las Vegas. His St. John's-based team will face Scotland and Denmark in Vegas. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room. Check out our brand new line of games for the Tab Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. The Moose next hour and Joey Alfieri from the Alouettes. Stick around. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Alice Cooper, the godfather of shock rock, is back. With special guest Buck Cherry. Mosaic Place, Sunday, April 10th. Get tickets now at mosaicplace.ca and sasktix.ca.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
I will say it again for probably the 733rd time. Maybe I've said it more. Every day I jump out of bed and I cannot wait to get on the air and host this show and chat with you and our viewers. It's so darn much fun. Thank you for the opportunity. And away we go. Moose, we are just getting into it, so don't move.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It sure is. And welcome to Hour 2, everybody, of your favorite program. Man, I'm going to tell you, Hour 1 was a hoot, a riot. It always is. Still kicking myself that I didn't get to that question from the BC Lions co-GM Neil McAvoy that I was asked to ask. We got to get Neil on soon, and then I will. But we just had so many football questions to ask as we bring in the Moose, Darren Moose DuPont, on this Flame Tech Football Friday. And Moose, I got to be honest with you, dude.
Yes.
I did not think that this tanking discussion would go off the way that it has. I didn't understand that so many people would have as big of opinions. And for those that may have just joined us, the reason it came up was kind of innocently enough. I mean, Brian Flores, the fired coach of the Miami Dolphins down here, after he was fired, accused the team, the owner, Stephen Ross of the Dolphins, of offering him cash payments to tank game for all 3 seasons that he was here. So now there's an investigation on the go with that, and we've kind of related it to all of our favorite leagues, and maybe that's why it's taken off the way that it has, because it kind of does affect every league in a way.
It really does. And that's why the NHL's got a lottery in, too, to try and limit a little bit of that and, you know, give teams that are in that vicinity of being in the basement an opportunity to win the first overall pick. In the NFL, it's not the case. So literally, if you lose the most games in the NFL, you will get your pick of the entire draft class. So I could see how it could happen, because if you get a Trevor Lawrence or a Joe Burrow, it can really change your franchise.
Yeah, well, for sure. And you've heard the conspiracy theories going back in the day with the NBA. Now, I think I'm experiencing brain fog today. It's my last day in Florida. There's something wrong with me. I got to start pounding pink drink to get my head into the game. But there was the story, and I got to ask the viewers again. I said earlier, I prepped you for this. I need your help, everybody. Yours, Moose, the viewers, and producer Clark as well. Help me out with some stuff here. But I think it was the NBA where they used to have envelopes in the glass box, and David Stern reached into an envelope and pulled out, I think it was the Knicks, maybe with drafting Patrick Ewing. I think that was the case. It feels like it was like 10 years ago. It was probably 25 years ago. But Stern was accused that one of those envelopes was frozen, cold. So he felt around for the cold envelope and pulled it out to get the right team. And whether that was true or not, now it's a lottery with balls so that you can't do that. Kind of lends credence to that maybe there was something to that. Did you ever hear that conspiracy theory out of the NBA?
No, I didn't. But what a great, trick. There's always a trick, right? There's always a story, whether the, sleight of hand and the card is up the sleeve, right? But the cold envelope, I'm just going, which one is it gonna be?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty wild. Exactly.
Yeah. You could see it. And I think as I get on in years, my advanced age, I can't remember what I said on the air, what was said on the air. Maybe this was just an urban myth amongst sports people that maybe it was never ever reported that way. I don't think it matters anymore. But it's, people are writing in about the integrity of the game and the this and the that. And I'm like, you guys understand there is no integrity. Like, that's the only thing. And I hate telling the viewers that there is no Santa Claus, but there is no integrity. I'm sorry.
Well,
they will do anything they can do to win. Go ahead.
I know. No, I know. And let's all, don't jump 0 to 100 for the fans that are watching this and the viewers. I mean, it's not like it's embarrassing tanking. It's not like I sat here and pulled the goalie up by 2 goals, in the final 5 minutes. It's not like I, like I said earlier, punted the ball from your 35-yard line when I'm in field goal range. It wasn't like that, because we would have talked about it and said, that was tanking. That was tanking, right? It's little things that just, you're not really trying to win as many games as you can. I'm playing a lot of younger players. I'm starting my backup goalie. I'm, doing all these types of things. This guy's going on long-term injured reserve because he's hurt, little things. It's not quite as embarrassing as maybe we want to think it is.
I smile because the viewers are not punchy today. They're like us. They're just in a chipper mood, ready for the weekend. For instance, Randy in Winnipeg says, I'll have to freeze the ace at my next hockey draft. LOL. Obviously, they draw cards. Ryan H on YouTube says, frozen envelope. Wow, I've never heard that one. That's amazing. So, yeah, I sit here and think, am I letting too much out of the bag? And again, I can't remember because I'm so old what was reported and what isn't, because you hear these things, and that was just one thing from the NBA that, whether it was true or not, I don't know, but they went away from envelopes the next year, so you tell me. Aaron B., who I believe is in Hamilton, correct me if I'm wrong, but Aaron's watching on YouTube, says, I'm a big English soccer fan. That league has its own issues, but they don't have a draft. But they do have regulation to lower leagues, so there is no tanking in that league. From the Snowman, he says, Snowman checking in from Indianapolis. Cancer has been removed. Congratulations, Snowman. I appreciate that, and thank you for having us part of your convalescence, your recovery, watching the show on that. Glad to hear that. Anything else, Moose, before we... Oh, okay. Clark has dug it up. And if for those that are watching on YouTube, there's the link. It's on the bottom of the screen right there, Moose. If you're looking there, the frozen envelope NBA theory is right there. So you can look that up. That's an actual thing.
Okay.
So, yeah. I didn't dream it. I think overall, no, I'm right on all these things. It's just like the Terrell Owens thing the other day, which actually, to change gears on a topic of discussion here or direction, the Terrell Owens thing, literally, that was, you think that would have been a bigger news than it was. Terrell Owens, I want to say April of 2018, working out for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. We move so fast on this show, we don't usually settle in on one topic for long. in a way that is a little like we spent more time on the tanking today than we ever spend really on anything. But Terrell Owens, that is an interesting thing there that he's coming back to play in the fan-controlled football league, which, no offense to senior hockey, but that's kind of what the fan-controlled football league is. It's a combination of rec hockey and senior hockey in terms of credibility and level of play. Fair? Like, I would rather see Terrell Owens in the CFL or the USFL or the XFL. The fan-controlled league is that's state fair football. But if T.O. came to Canada at the age of 48 this year, which isn't going to happen, but maybe it will. Like, he thinks he can play in the NFL again. I went back and read the article. Terrell Owens thinks the fan-controlled football league could spring him back to the NFL. My goodness. Is this to be taken seriously or not? Is this a novelty?
He hasn't played in a decade. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing with like a Colin Kaepernick who can't get back into the league. Just remember, Colin Kaepernick's not 48 years old. But when you're removed from the game for that long, it's so hard to get back into it. No matter how great a shape you're in or your football sense, the game has changed. So even the game that T.O. knew, the coverages, the way defensive backs play on you, the physicality, whether it's gotten worse or less, it's different. The whole game will be different 10 years later.
Well, the guy is in the Hall of Fame. Terrell Owens. There's no doubt that he's an athletic freak. And the one thing that bothers me about Terrell Owens, and it's one thing that really bothers me about society, if you're a bad dude, you're a bad dude, and that's fine. I think you deserve what you get, especially if you're out of chances. Like a Johnny Manziel, for instance, I don't know whether he's a bad dude or not. I've met him. I've been around him. I used to be a fan of his. I'm not anymore. He's burned up all his chances. Terrell Owens, go Google him. He's never been in trouble. He did a lot of really zany things, ridiculous things. Dancing on the Star might be the most incriminatory thing he's ever done. But he was never in trouble off the field. Remember, he called a news conference in his driveway where he was doing sit-ups, and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, held a news conference while T.O. was doing his sit-ups. Like, really crazy, zany things where people question his mental health, but he never beat up anybody. He never got a DUI that I know of.
I know. And that's the thing. Like, a guy who just wants to come back and play the game. And if that's the case and he can do it, I mean, I want to see the shot. I want to see it happen. And it's a little bit like Tiger. Is he probably going to win the Masters? Probably not. But we want to see the spectacle, and we're tuned in for the storyline. Yeah. And you know what? I'll probably watch fan control football if T.O. is suiting up and playing in the game. So,
well, let's remember a year ago where we were coming off a CFL season where there had not been a CFL season. I was watching fan-controlled football on my phone with 45,000 others and really enjoying it. And Johnny Manziel was in the league, and as I said, Josh Gordon, and now there will be Terrell Owens. I'll be watching this year too, but there wasn't much else going on at the time. Mike Blackbird, watching in Toronto on YouTube, says, have we talked about Chad Kelly calling out MLSE and the Argos for lack of merchandise? We haven't even mentioned it, and I'm not going to mention it here. Juwan Breskison did the same thing, number 82, for the Argos. He wanted to buy a bunch of Argos jerseys, 82, for people that follow him in gaming, and the jerseys weren't available. It's 11:11. Thank you, BW, for pointing that out. 1:11 Eastern. Everybody, you're on the right track. Except, well, hey guys, where is it? Hello, 1:11. Hi. BW says, does anybody else's YouTube chat freeze up? Not mine, brah. Mine is tickety boo. I'm in the chat. I'm checking. Oh, wait a minute. I got stalled. I got mesmerized by the YouTube comments. Let's slide on over to the 902 text line, Moose. What do you say? DG in Saskatoon watching. Morning, guys. He says, nothing will come of the Dolphins' investigation into tanking. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but here's the proof. the Tom Brady story from Pro Football Talk this week. It says that Tom was retiring in order to become a minority owner of the Dolphins with a group led by billionaire Bruce Beal. To me, they realized nothing would happen to Miami ownership, so Tom unretired and went back to Tampa. Oh, my God. See, that's what's horrible about the offseason. You want to talk fake news. You know, I told you my guy Camco's down here in South Florida this week. We went to the Leafs game the other day from Bronco Plumbing and Heating. He had a boat tour, and they pointed out where they're building Tom's house in Indian Creek here in South Florida. Like it's now on the boat tours. This is Tom Brady's house that he's building right now. You can see where these rumors came from, can't you?
Of course. And, you know, the latest one that I saw was that, you know, when Tom Brady retired, he was actually poised to join the Dolphins at that point as part of their ownership group. So there's all these different threads and ways to try and tie him to the organization. And but you know what? He came back. He's going to play in Tampa. And I think we just leave it at that for now.
Well, the interesting thing was when Tom was announced as retiring, and what was it, 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, I think? Well, shoot, Adam Schefter reported it a week before Super Bowl, didn't he? And then Tom made it official. That's when it was.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that Tom Brady... Well, did we think that Tom Brady would be done with football? Let's just say he retired. Did we think that he would be done? Did we not think that he would go into coaching or broadcasting or ownership or something, Darren? He wasn't just going to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, I honestly don't. I don't see Tom being a coach. I don't. But I did. I seen him. I had him being involved in the game. Probably from an ownership perspective is where I would see Tom staying involved in the game. But yeah, I never thought he would retire. So, you know, it wasn't really shocking to me when he unretired.
Well, you knew he was going to retire at some point. And it's interesting you say that about coaching. And I hate the fact that we have to take a commercial here. I will get to all your comments, folks, coming up after the break. But it's funny with the coaching. And Bo Levi the same. From what I understand in Calgary, he doesn't want to coach. He wants to go into broadcasting. And it's like me. I'm a terrible coach of young broadcasters. I'm terrible. You can call me the Tom Brady of broadcasting if you want, or the Wayne Gretzky. I won't be offended. I look at those young kids and say, why can't you do this? Because it was so easy for me. My whole life, I knew what I was doing since I was 6. So I could see why maybe it was so easy for Bo Levi Mitchell. That's not to say he doesn't put the time in and the work. We all put in the time and the work. But there's also natural talent involved as well. And I can see why maybe Tom wouldn't want to coach either. Why can't you do this? Why Wayne Gretzky didn't last as a coach and Mario Lemieux never even tried. You know? But with the recovery coach world, it's far different, and why I've had success there, I don't even understand. I don't know why. That's a God thing. Anyways, we'll get to more of your comments. We got a ton today on this Flame Tech Football Friday. Flame Tech, your industry leader in combustion services. We'll be right back to South Florida and the NHL's Bermuda Triangle in a moment on Game Plus TV. YouTube Live, of course, and if you've missed any of the show, you can always find us wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Alice Cooper, the godfather of shock rock, is back. With special guest Buck Cherry. Mosaic Place, Sunday, April 10th. Get tickets now at mosaicplace.ca and sasktix.ca.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
I hope everybody is ready for the Bet Regal contest because it's coming up. I want every single person watching to play the contest this weekend. You don't got to do it now, but you do over the next 3 days. Go look at the schedule, pick the game you're most interested in, any sport. It would help if you can bet on it at Bet Regal, but you can bet it on pretty much every sport there. And pick the winner. And you'll go into a random draw for a prize package from our friends at Bet Regal, our exclusive betting partner. And we'll talk to you more about that in a moment. But Moose, one of my football guys is listening. He's listening.
Okay.
He said he's at work. And he says, pro football coach is all I'm going to say. Says he enjoyed the tanking discussion. He says if anyone who tanks a game or an event is disrespectful to the game and all of those involved. If sitting players occurs, it's done for a reason, either in the present or for future. Keep talking football. That's what Coach said. Keep talking football.
Of course.
So, yeah, we will. Well, it's a Flame Tech Football Friday. He says every day should be football talk. And, hey, I get it, but I also like the variety of sports talk that we give here because I like studying it up. It's like my homework, you know. Chris Jarl is watching in Surrey, BC right now on Game Plus television, and he says, I'm so happy to watch live today. First time since early March. Missed you guys. Tanking would be dependent on the talent pool coming up. Lottery makes it too risky, and it seems fixed for the Canucks to always drop in the order. Tanking does go on, right? Like I can't sit and say definitively how much it goes on, but I do believe it goes on. Do you not believe that it goes on?
I do. It's not the way that the viewers might think, though. Like when he talks about integrity of the game, you know, it's not like your Paul Crew shaving points, purposely throwing the ball out of bounds. And maybe that's happening. I'm not so naive that I think that's not happening. But it's in the way that you mentioned earlier with playing younger players, letting other people have an opportunity to see what they've got. Those types of things. You're not exactly putting all your chips in to try and win. You're doing more things for development.
Yeah, well, I love, and again, we got to go back around on this. I feel like we are on sports radio today, i.e. sticking on one topic for a long time, and that's fine. But again, the NFL is investigating the Dolphins. They're going back and looking at all the games, play by play by play, those season-ending games. And so far, there's been no evidence that the Dolphins, that it can be proven that they were tanking games. And I just find it hilarious because we've all seen idiotic coaching decisions, in football, where it's like he's not trying to tank it, he just blew it. We've seen that. I talked to referees and talked to players, and why is he calling this? The greatest discussions you could ever have is with a coach after he's long gone from the game, because they're not going to admit it at the time. Brady in Saskatoon, you remember Brady, he writes in and he says, "Hey, Rod, I believe the most likely teams to tank are teams who suck anyways. Tanking sucks for a fan base to watch, but does lead to a potentially bright future. Tiger played well on the first day of the Masters. Hopefully he continues." And he writes in all caps, "Blue Jays baseball is back." From Craig in Toronto. Craig in Calgary. Writes in Craig Drebbett. He says, "Going back a few days ago and the talk about which athlete we used to hate, for me it was Tiger Woods. He pouted and swore, talked like a robot, and bullied everyone around him. But yesterday, I see him finish the Masters, and he's grateful, humble, self-deprecating, and even a little funny. He's grown up. I may actually cheer him on now." Isn't that something? And I've got thoughts on that, but what are yours when you read that Tiger's changed?
I love it. People have evolved. People can evolve, right? And, for somebody to hate Tiger and then have their opinion evolve, the open-mindedness I respect. So I like to see it. Now, I don't agree with that. I liked Tiger before. I didn't see all those negative things, and maybe I had the blinders on. But, hey, I'm appreciative of the comment.
Well, I am too, and it resonates with me. And you are aware of this because you know everything going on in my life. But I look at Tiger, and I look at it a little bit to my life, and I think you know what I'm going to say. He's been through so much, and I've been through so much. They're different things. I think there's only a tiny fraction of our viewership that would even know what I'm talking about right now or what I'm about to say. But I see these advisors. People see me referring to my advisors. And I've said to them, because they get to know me, and they're like, you don't have an ego. And I said, hey, listen, I used to, but I said at the time, God has kicked the crap out of me and kicked me in the nuts and knocked the piss out of me to the amount that I have no ego left. There was nothing left. And they said, well, it wasn't God. It was life, and it was a certain, don't blame him. And I'm like, so I don't anymore. But a Tiger, look what he's been through. He was almost killed in a car crash, the familial stuff, all the rest, the doubters. I mean, now he's building back up again, and he's a different person. You go through these things in life, it changes you, or at the very least, it should. Yeah. And you didn't, I'm very thankful that you didn't know the old me. You wouldn't wanted to know the old me, but I'm a different person now. And there's a lot of people that still want to hold me accountable for past actions, and I'm like, that's their problem. It's the same thing with Tiger. If you're going to hold Tiger accountable and not cheer for him because of the old Tiger, then that's your business. But it just seems, Darren, you get a sense that the majority of society really is pulling for Tiger this weekend. There are a lot that never will, but the majority is really pulling for him.
They really are. They really are. And,
okay.
No, on that, like, they are pulling for him, and people love a success story, and they like a second chance. And, like, people who wanted Tiger to lose before now want him to win because they like, people rising from the ashes. You look at Tom Brady. A lot of people that hated Tom Brady when he was young and winning all the Super Bowls really started to like him again when he became 40 and people started doubting him, right? When people started doubting Tiger and doubting Tom Brady, that's when, they grew a whole new fan base of people who said, they're going to stick it to him.
I think in a lot of ways it comes with age. But one thing I've noticed here, the thing with Tiger is what hasn't changed is the fire. You know what Craig's saying, that, was it Craig, whoever the viewer was, that Tiger's changed. The fire's still there. Him walking off the course after the 9-hole practice round, and they said, how you feeling, Tiger? And he's like, everything's good, brother. He's still cocky/confident, and so am I. But there's just a different way to handle it, just like Tom Brady. Like, when he sucked in the match play, when he was, isn't it interesting that Tom and Tiger were in the same foursome that day? And I can't remember what the pairings were. Was it not Tiger and Tom and Phil Mickelson and Peyton Manning? Was that what the pairings were?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tom was terrible, but he was a fish out of water. Like, would you want to put Tiger Woods out on a football field and have him go through a skills competition, throwing footballs through tires and blah, blah? No, it wasn't Tom's thing. But all of a sudden, Charles Barkley was the color commentator that day, and he was laughing at Tom. And it was like Tom's eyes turned laser shot out of him. And he jarred a 150-foot approach shot. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't laugh at him.
No. Oh, yeah.
That'll never change.
That was Tom.
That'll never change.
Never. And you just wanted to see more and more of that. And I just, that's why you wish that they'd have a rematch, because I'd be glued to that too. Now, Tom gets a second chance.
Yeah, but the thing is, this evolution, for me, from what I see with the Tiger thing, I notice the guys, and mostly our guys, like friends of mine, that are really rooting for Tiger and Brady, are guys that are like him in sport, that are winners, and they understand it. And most of the people that are haters are just haters. They don't understand it. They're losers. They've never done anything in their life. They don't even know what it takes to win. You know what I'm saying? The winners appreciate the winners, if that makes sense. Randy in Winnipeg. Let's get into the Bet Regal contest here. Randy in Winnipeg, who has won this before. I don't know if we can have repeat winners or not, but he's taking a stab at it. He says the game of the weekend for him is Masters Sunday. Corey Connors win. Have a great weekend, RP crew. That's from Randy in the Peg. I'm just going to look because I work one day at a time, and I'm a little out of sorts today because I don't have my bracelet on. I took it off. I still have it, but I didn't put it on for the show. In the National Hockey League, there are 5 games. I know what I'm going to pick, and it ain't hockey. But in the NHL tonight, it's Boston at Tampa Bay. That should be a doozy. Brian Dodge, the mayor of Dodge City, very concerned that his Lightning are in a swoon right now. I said, Brian, it's okay. They're going to be fine. You can't keep the pedal to the metal for 82 straight. Islanders at Carolina. Sabres here at Florida tonight. I won't be going. Minnesota at St. Louis, and Colorado at Winnipeg. My featured game is the Texas Rangers at the Toronto Blue Jays. That's my featured game. And the Blue Jays will win. Yeah, well, I think that being at home, the emotion of the home crowd, they got their ace on the mound, or one of them, Jose Barrios. Nice that they, like, who's the Jays' ace? You would normally think Roy Halladay would start on opening day, right? But the Jays actually have a little bit of a rotation there of aces. And I'll take the Blue Jays to win over Texas tonight. That's my featured game of the weekend. In the NBA, Raptors home to Houston. And I just got to mention this for my junior hockey fans, because they tell me they watch in the dressing rooms and offices in the dub every day. Medicine Hat is at Brandon tonight. Your Blades welcome the Prince Albert Raiders, one of the greatest rivalries in hockey. Prince Albert Raiders at Saskatoon tonight. God's team, the Regina Pats, are at Swift Current. Flickering playoff hopes alive. Could be snuffed out tonight for the Pats, I think, if they lose. Lethbridge at Red Deer. By the way, I found both yours and my CHL passes when I was going through a bag here, so I'll get yours next time I see you. Tri-City at Everett, Victoria at Kamloops, Portland at Vancouver. And I might mention, in the SJ tonight, Humboldt's at Flin Flon, with Flin Flon leading a 2-0 lead. And Estevan swept out Yorkton last night. I talked to the Bruins coach, Jason Tatarnik, and they were up 3-0 going into Yorkton last night, and he wanted to end it. None of this, let's get another home gate and tank it. Let's tank a game or two and get a home gate. Who was it? That was the Tampa Bay mayor that said that, right, in the Stanley Cup final last year? Let's lose in Montreal in Game 4 and get a game back here. Oh, my God, what a maroon. Anyways, the Bruins got out the brooms and swept out Yorkton. There's enough of my preamble. What is your featured game, Moose, of the weekend?
Well, I'm going to have to change it now. It was going to be the Jays and Rangers, and I thought that I'd be alone on that. I didn't think you would pick the Blue Jay game, and I was going to pick the Jays to win the home opener. So I'll still stick with that. And then I'll I'm also, of course, excited about the Blades and Prince Albert Raiders. That's always a lot of fun. Those two fan bases don't like each other.
Okay. Rack it. Mark it down, everybody. Just checking from the viewers here before we let you go. Moose, from my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat, says living in a spotlight like Tiger must be horrible. Oh, can't even imagine. That guy can't go to the bathroom without somebody looking at him, I'm sure, in his own house, let alone anywhere else on the planet. Shane Mellinson. He picked the Masters. He's in. You're in, Shane. I can't remember who he picked. But he says the New York Rangers winning the lottery was also fishy, with the lighter ball than the others. I don't remember that story. I do remember the Knicks story in the NBA. Dan in Winnipeg watching says, what chances do you think Tiger Woods has to win the Masters? Well, listen, I think he's got a great chance because he wasn't even in the top 10 betting favorites going into the week, and he came out tied for 10th after the first round. I guess we'll see how his stamina is. Let's be honest. He's 47, dude.
Yeah.
Right? This isn't the 1997 version of Tiger. We got a break, Moose. No. I'll see you for overtime. We got to roll.
Sounds good.
We're going to Montreal next. Get those picks in, everybody, for the Bet Regal contest. Game of the weekend. Pick the winner. We'll be right back. You are watching a Flame Tech Football Friday on the Game Plus TV network. YouTube live streaming, and of course, you can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy the best podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
It is a Flame Tech Football Friday, and we've been talking a lot of NFL today. Why not here in an NFL market, South Florida? And maybe we'll get around to that with our next guest, Joey Alfieri of the Montreal Alouettes, because he can always talk some NFL. But I do believe he would agree that the CFL is nearer to him in his heart. And Joey, welcome to the program again. How you doing today, bud?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good. Talking football, of course, is always fun. And I have to ask you about your move from TSN 690 radio in Montreal over to the Montreal Alouettes of the Canadian Football League. We have not spoken since. How did this come about? I'll say congratulations of moving to the dark side. What's the deal?
Yeah, it was. It came about pretty quickly. I was happy where I was, but there was another CFL team that kind of reached out over the holiday period, and it would have involved moving my wife and I out west. And I think we were both willing to do that. But before we packed up and moved, I reached out to the organization here. I mean, this is the team that I grew up watching, the team that I grew up cheering for. We've had season tickets in my family for over 20 years now. So I just felt like before I made any type of move to another CFL team, that I would check in here and see if it was possible. And I think, just speaking to the people here, our visions kind of aligned in terms of what we wanted to accomplish with content and on social media, with interviews and podcasts and stuff like that. And the fit just kind of worked out. And I got to tell you, man, like working within the league with the team, it's been dream come true. It's been awesome.
That's good. Good to hear. And the excitement I sense is building in the CFL. From what I understand, players are starting to arrive in the markets. And what has you excited about the CFL in 2022 and specifically the Montreal Alouettes?
Yeah, well, I think the continuity in Montreal specifically is just something that the team here hasn't had in quite some time. I think if you look back to the last decade before Gary Stern, Mario Cecchini, and Danny Machocha got here, there was a lot of coming and going, both on the roster, on the coaching staff, and the front office. And I mean, right now, there's stability there, and I think that's what kind of has me most excited. On the field, I think the team looks good. I think the Owls have the best quarterback depth in the league heading into the season. And we saw last year across the league, but here in particular, they used 3 different starting quarterbacks. So that's really important. They were able to bring back Geno Lewis, Jake Winicky, Will Stanback got an extension. So did Vernon Adams. They signed Trevor Harris and Dominique Davis. So I think the team here looks good. And I think they definitely have a legitimate shot at winning the East Division. Across the league as a whole, Roddy, I just can't wait for football to start. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's been so much talk about improving the flow of the game, and there's no doubt that it needs improvement. But now you've got a full training camp for everybody. You've got preseason games. The pandemic it's not out of sight, but hopefully it's in the rearview mirror. And I think that I'm expecting big things. I think the offenses have kind of been been stomped on a little bit here during the offseason, and I think they're going to come out, and I think they're going to light it up. I think we're going to get a really exciting product this year.
By the way, if you don't mind, I'll pass along some viewer comments. Andrew Stute, big Habs fan. I think he's a Rider fan, but he writes in, he says, "Hey, Joey, we miss you on TSN 690. My buddy Gallo must miss you, too." I could never quite figure out Andrew. He's originally from Quebec. He used to work in the Rider store, and I don't know where he is now, but he watches this show every day, and I appreciate him for that, and clearly he is a fan of yours. I got to ask you this, with the Als, and obviously I hope that they will continue to let you come on because we have a great relationship with the Alouettes, and I'm a huge, huge Trevor Harris fan. Do you expect that stadium packed for the home opener and moving forward? Because Kahari Jones has kind of restored the roar. Where do the Owls rate in that town right now?
Yeah, look, I think the excitement is there, and I think it's only going to ramp up. I know last week we had the big announcement in Montreal that training camp was going to be in Trois-Rivières, which is about an hour and a half away. And so I know that there's some hardcore Owls fans that are going to travel from Montreal to Three Rivers. We say it that way in English. But I know that there's a lot of fans in that area who've reached out to me just to tell me how excited they are that we're going to have pro football in that part of town. And it's something that the team did, for a long time. They were in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu for a while, which was about 45 minutes away. They were at Bishop's University in Lennoxville for a stretch there too. So it isn't something new, but we are going to see them go to a different part of the province, which I think is really cool. And the hype is building. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen, but Vernon Adams is having his annual mini camp. There's 10 Alouettes players out there. There's, I think, TJ Lee of the BC Lions and Aaron Grimes of the Edmonton Elks are there as well. So they're having a mini camp there, and I'm starting to see the pictures, and I just like it. It smells like football in the air, and I think that you're starting to feel that vibe as well around town and on social media too. There's a lot of people DMing me, asking me for comments, what I think about the team. So it's really starting to ramp up.
Well, I'll tell you what. That is exciting, but you talked about the tweaks to the league and some things need to be cleaned up, and to be honest, I don't see it. I mean, I've been a fan of the CFL since the early 80s, worked in the league for 20 years, and I'd like to think it was an anomaly, the scoring being down the 2021 season. I think the league is a tremendous product. I'd like to see the business people do a little more and get the stadiums full because I think the product's great. The athleticism is awesome. Our stars are great. How much tweaking do you think actually needs to be done?
I think there's tweaking that needs to be done. I mean, look, I think as a league as a whole, whether you look at it from, as a league employee, as a team employee, as a fan, I think we have to be willing to adapt. And that's something that, I've come to learn, honestly, because at first when all of these things came out, I was pretty rigid that I didn't want to move. And there's certain aspects of the game that I'm still pretty rigid on. Like, I don't want to go to fourth down. I don't want to see 4 downs. I heard what Trevor Harris had to say on your show last week, I think it was. I think it's a great outside the box idea. And I like that, Trevor went there. I don't feel the need for it. I think there's been a couple of years, even pre-pandemic, where, things were down a little bit in terms of offense. But, I'll speak from a Montreal perspective. In 2019, I think we had some of the greatest finishes that I've ever seen watching the league right here in Montreal. There was the game in Calgary where they came back from 11 points down. I think it was with about a minute 30 left, and they won in double overtime in Calgary. And then, they overcame a 24-point deficit here at home, biggest comeback in franchise history to beat Winnipeg. So, look, not every game is going to be exciting all the time. I think you see that in the NFL as well. I do think that there might be a game flow issue. I think keeping the quarterbacks healthy is a big deal because when you have to go to your backup, your third and fourth string quarterbacks, it does make it a little bit more difficult to string drives together. So, I do think there are improvements that need to be made. And I think we need to be willing to evolve with the times and to adapt. But I'm with you. I don't think we need a major overhaul in the CFL. I think, from a marketing perspective, you're starting to see teams are doing more and more, and I think that'll attract a younger fan base. Like for us, I know I was at the Combine with a couple of my teammates here. And we're going to have, full behind the scenes. We're going to take you into the interview room. We're going to take you, into the discussions with our football ops people. So I do think that, the behind the scenes stuff is going to attract new CFL fans as well. I think that's something people are interested in. But, if we're talking specifically about the game, I don't think you need major overhaul. I do think you have to keep an open mind, though, because changes do need to be made.
Well, man, Joey, you and I could get a coffee or a Diet Coke and discuss this even for hours, probably, because to be honest, I saw more NFL games last year live than CFL games, and I think the CFL games move way faster than the NFL, but I think the TV product camouflages that and hides it, right? Because there's a difference between watching on television versus in the venue. Yeah, I think the CFL does move faster than the National Football League, but I like what you're saying with the behind-the-scenes stuff. I was trying to do it 10, 15 years ago. I really hope that every team gets on board, because let's be honest, there's a lot of teams that don't want to let you behind the curtain. They might be the teams that aren't doing what you're doing right now. Ottawa's leading the way. Looks like the Alouettes are following in line, but it's always been a problem getting everybody on board, pulling on the same rope. But anyways, we are out of time. Joey, let's do it again, sir. Thanks for the time here today, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, buddy. I'm a little jealous of the background there. Maybe I have to I'll come meet you one of these days.
The meeting will be here. Yes, absolutely. EC.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. Joey Alfieri of the Montreal Alouettes. We'll be right back with Overtime and Taco Time viewer takeover when the Moose rejoins us. Boy, have we got a lot to gnaw on next. It is a Flame Tech Football Friday on the Game Plus TV network. Available all across Alberta, of course, BC, and in Quebec on Videotron, Eastlink Cable, and Rogers. Also live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to The Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of two new 4D simulators within the programming. The Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right. It is the final segment here from Florida for a while. It's overtime. Brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace. And that reminds me, I got this message here from the Greek Freak. Where the heck is it? Hey, Moose, welcome back to the show. Here it is. The Four Seasons Sports Palace, your Jays, MLB opening weekend, UFC 273, Masters, NHL, NBA, NLL, and curling headquarters this weekend. We love sports. From George at the Four Seasons. Do we have the Moose? Do we have him? It is Taco Time viewer takeover. There you go. There you go, Moose. Todd in Red Deer's watching, and he says, hey, I know I can't win regarding the featured game of the week for Bet Regal weekend. He says, but F1 Australian Grand Prix, Max V to win. Let's go Red Bull Racing. I haven't watched enough Drive to Survive to tell me to know who Max V is. Do you know?
Verstappen. It's Max Verstappen. He won the whole thing last year, beat out Lewis Hamilton. So you'll get, spoiler alert. Should have said that. Spoiler alert.
No, it's fine. Jordan just told me in my ear too. Max Verstappen. Okay. I'm getting into it. I'm trying to figure it out. By the way, anybody, if you're sitting at home this weekend, you got your phone out, maybe you're watching on your laptop right now, whatever. Now would be a great weekend to sign up for your Bet Regal account for the first time ever. And for new users, use the hashtag RP22, the promo code RP22, and you'll get 22 welcome dollars to bet with at Bet Regal. Go to the website, betregal.ca. and sign up this weekend. Like I said, I met people at the Panthers game here, betting $2 a game. Just makes it a little more fun. And I would say, Moose, probably for the Masters, if you're going to put a little change down, $2 would certainly make things even more interesting, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's all it takes. Just a little something. Even on the free play site, it's fun just to, have the guys that you're pulling for this weekend. So, yeah, go to Bet Regal and sign up today.
Yeah, you can, go to betregal.net and sign up on the Play Free Sportsbook. Listen, putting a bow on things, with Joey Alfieri last segment, if you saw it, talking about the CFL needs some changes to improve game flow. I'm sorry, I think that it has better game flow than the National Football League. I'm sorry, and I've watched both games live last year, but that's just me. I think this is a knee-jerk thing that they're talking about. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think so. I think, one bad year would be knee-jerk. The first sign of something going wrong or struggling or, scoring being down or attendance being down or, just coming out of a lockout. I think we have to give it a little bit of time here and have some patience. So if this year is the same as last year and the scoring's down and we're still seeing the complaints and the attendance is down, then I think we really need to have the conversation. It's good to be aware and at least say, hey, we might need to do A, B, and C, but we have to see if this was just a one-off or if it's an actual trend.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says Rod will arrive back in Calgary just in time for the Calgary Stampede tarp auction. May we see an RP show tarp in the Rangeland Derby at this year's Calgary Stampede? I wouldn't be the one to talk to about that, but I think that's a great idea. And by the way, we'll be back in Calgary beginning Monday. Thank you, Jeff, the Stamps fan, for reminding me and pointing that out. Monday, back live at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Well, that's got to happen between now and then. I've got to travel back to Canada, host a banquet in Assiniboia, Sask with Lanny and Chris Walby, then get to Calgary and be back on the air Monday morning. And you, Moose, again, great segue here. Saturday night, you'll be behind the microphone for exciting NLL action, the Saskatchewan Rush, home to the Vancouver Warriors. I'm seeing photos. Our guy Riley is in the Saddle Dome right now getting ready for tonight's Roughnecks game. So it's a huge NLL weekend. And just in case you don't know, Moose, I just read the game notes. It's an 8 p.m., what do they call it, ball drop, Saturday night at SaskTel Center?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's a little bit later on Saturday night. Yep, 8 o'clock. But it'll be awesome. And I think tonight's game in Calgary is going to be great too. I'm pretty sure this is the one that's going to be picked up on TSN, on the national feed. So it's going to be a great weekend of lacrosse.
Last minute of play on the RP show. I tell you what, as I said to you earlier, the time flies by so fast, not only on this show, but just in Florida overall. I can't believe it's been 3 weeks, but we are heading back up to the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino for a several-week residency. Everybody wants to know where we're going and what we're doing. Well, as I say, just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. Keep watching. Yeah. And we'll see you Monday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain, noon Eastern right here. Any last words from you, Moose?
Tiger just bogeyed his first hole today. He's even par for the tournament. Enjoy the Masters this weekend.
Yeah, I guess we know what we're going to be doing all weekend. Thank you, Moose, for all you do, and the entire crew, and mostly the viewers, because without you, there would be no us. We'll see you Monday from Calgary here on Game Plus TV.
Nerds! Nerds!
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.